If you were transported to the lands between with only a blunt and a lighter in your inventory, where would you spark it? Here's my comprehensive list of the top 5 smoke spots in Elden Ring. Coming in at the lowest spot on today's list, we have the first step. You might be tempted to take a puff of that doobie right when you walk out of these castle doors. But be warned that there is tons to explore and a lot of danger ahead. So smoking here would be a scenic view for the ages, but chances are you would get too lazy and quit before your journey even starts. Now, make no mistake, there are much worse places to get high in Elden Ring, but this one just ranks a little bit lower than the others. Next on our list is the crumbling Farum Isula. Watching dragons fly around would be a 10 out of 10 experience. And I'm sure it would blow your little tarnished mind just how these creatures grew wings, breathe fire, and can chill amongst the birds. Although, I'm not gonna lie, this tornado would make it insanely hard to light a joint. And probably make it pretty hard to breathe too. I might even go as far to say that this would cause a bad trip. Another cool fact about the Farum Isula is that it's frequently referenced as the storm beyond time. This means the location is stuck in time and what happens inside of it isn't affected by time itself. The sun never goes down here. If you kill Malekith, for example, the beast clergyman will still be alive in Caelid. Only when you travel to the heart of the storm do you find Placidusax holding everything together and freezing time itself. This concept is super trippy, and that's why the crumbling Farum Isula ranks number 4 on this list. Coming in dead center, in the middle spot on today's list, is the Church of Vows. Mainly because the Turtle Pope is a dope-ass viber. I'm sure he would take a hit of the Zaza if he got offered one. And if you're lucky, he might even let you splash around in his kiddie pool afterwards if you're feeling up to it. For me, the Turtle Pope is definitely in the dream blunt rotation. But what about you guys? Leave a comment down below. In second place, we have the Leyndell Royal Capital. And specifically, the Elden Throne. I think it would be pretty cool to reflect on how far you've come, and maybe have an existential crisis about how you became Elden Lord in this very spot. You kinda rule the land and everything in it, so that's pretty sweet. Just don't think too hard as to why there's still a boss door back here, because you might get paranoid and lose your shit. Hey, if you wanted to, you could even sit on your throne and DoorDash Wendy's or Taco Bell if you wanted, since you rule the lands between. Take the next hit of this joint, you deserve it. Before we get to number 1, leave a comment down below if Patches is in the dream blunt rotation. And finally, coming in at our number 1 spot, we have the Nokron Eternal City. In my opinion, this is by far the dopest looking spot in all of Elden Ring. The siren song coming from those bottom dwellers is a lost art in a world mainly devoid of music. And maybe, if you offer them a hit, they'll finally chill out and won't hit you anymore. And there's already mushrooms covering the ground in this part of Elden Ring, so I'm sure none of the residents are strangers to that good kush either. It would be such a trip trying to figure out how you're underground, yet there's stars covering the sky at the same time. I could spend hours trying to figure out what's going on there. Another thing that would blow your mind while baked is how there's an exact 1-to-1 clone down here known as the Mimic Tier. Who created it? Why is it down here? Does it want a hit? So many questions and so little answers. Those are the reasons why the Nokron Eternal City is a 10 out of 10 smoke spot and number 1 on today's list. If you like, comment, and subscribe right now, I'll make a second video on the top 5 worst smoke spots in Elden Ring.